Hello, my name is Michael, and welcome to part 1 of 250 weird questions to ask to throw someone off. Although, throwing myself off is going to be an interesting concept. Maybe the answers will just be funny. Alright, so starting with number 1, what would you do if you found a dead body in a hotel room? Let's give a boring answer and inform authorities and ask for a new room. I mean, you could always inform the authorities and tell the hotel you can still stay in that room. I mean, to each their own. Because I think the smell might have led you to the body in the first place, so. If bald people work in a restaurant, do they still need to wear hairnets? Some people would say yes, but no, no, I don't think so. For the most part, people with short hair don't have to wear hairnets, at least in any aspect that I have seen a restaurant where people go in and they're working there. I've never seen, because I think it's just one of those things where they pick on people with long hair. So yes, I would be one of the ones that would have to wear a hairnet. Which one would you prefer? Have no nose, but have really good smelling fingers, or be blind and have a really nice smile? I'm not exactly sure how any of those choices make any sense. Which one would you prefer? Have no nose, but have really good smelling fingers? Why fingers? Why is the fingers the right expression? Or be blind, but have a really nice smile. What does my smile have to do with me being blind? I don't know why that would be such an effect for me. If you have described something as indescribable, haven't you described it? Possibly, but not entirely. Because if it's indescribable, it's something that you personally can't put into words. I mean, you could ask somebody for a thesaurus and just give them a random rundown of words that they've never heard before, just to mess with them, I suppose. Why is it called beauty sleep even though you wake up looking a hot mess? It's a good question. I don't think these are these are rhetorical questions. More so than questions that require an answer, because that one is just kind of like a dead-end question, because once it's asked, the answer is kind of self-evident. What has been the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn? An ugly brown skirt and a blouse. I was dressed up by a few of my friends because they dared me to actually walk out in public like that, so I walked out in public like that. So yeah, that was the most embarrassing thing I've ever worn. Which one would you choose? Be alive and alone, or about to die with a group of friends? Alive and alone. Just about to die with a group of friends, that just ruins the fun for the friends. I mean, I don't see why taking care of my dead body after I just drop her, is going to be any fun for them. How many pennies do you think would fit into this room? This is not an internet question. This is something you don't ask somebody on the internet. How many pennies do you think would fit into this room? I'm sitting in a car, so I'm sitting in my vehicle, so that's not as many as, say, a person who's sitting in a bathroom, or somebody who's sitting in a bedroom, or somebody who's sitting in a living room. Like, should a man about to be executed in the electric chair be saved if he had a heart attack? um, I guarantee they would, because it's not them actually executing him. Like, I guarantee they would literally shock him back because he's having a heart attack, because he's not dying of what he's supposed to be dying of. Like, if he's in the electric chair, he was sentenced to death in the electric chair, not sentenced to death of a heart attack in the electric chair. So, I mean, technically, if they electrocute him, his cause of death would be cardiac arrest, because his heart's going to stop when he gets electrocuted. So technically, that would be why he's going to die. But I'm sure they'd bring him back or whatever so that they could electrocute him. Do you think if anything is possible, it's still possible for anything to be impossible? That's an odd question, because there are things that are impossible and there are things that are probable. So that's a very difficult question. Is it possible to hear someone's iPod while they're running at maximum speed? If it has a speaker, sure. I mean, if they're listening to it through AirPods or headphones or anything like that, no, because, like, that's kind of personal media device, and I think it's called personal media device for a reason, not, out loud. Have you ever attempted to swallow toothpaste? I have swallowed toothpaste. What music would you choose to play every time you walk into a room? I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know why I would have theme music, because it's not that neat when I walk in. However, I have in the past just walked into a room and said, "Here I am to wreck your day." So, I mean, I guess that counts. Do fish have a thirst for water? They don't really drink water. Like, that's part of food too, because the water's there as well. So I don't think so. I don't know why I would know that. I don't know why, if you're asking a person, they would know this question. Is there a limit to how intelligent a single person can be? No. Like, I don't think anybody is going to say, okay, you've had enough knowledge, knock it off, just get the hell out. You're not allowed to learn anything, get the hell out. Why is sandwich meat round when bread is square? I'm guessing because the actual animal is rounded. That's more the idea behind it, because it's cutting the meat from, like, the breast of the chicken or something like that, and the chicken is round, just like our bodies are rounded. I feel like I'm educating these people for some weird reason. Who's the fifth person on your missed calls list? bill collector. I can guarantee, like, without looking, I can tell you who it is. If man developed from monkeys, why do we still have monkeys? Because they're cool, and you have to keep them around because that's just cool. Like, some of us evolved and the rest stayed in the jungle. Come on now. Which would be the nicest if animals could only talk? You would think I read that incorrectly, but which would be the nicest if animals could only talk? To prove this point, if animals could only talk. I don't know. Like, I've always thought that ducks would be nice, but at the same time, when they quack, it sounds like they're pissed. It sounds like they're mad because they're like, nah, like they're not happy. But I would think ducks, and I don't really have a reason for thinking that. I just think that would be the true point to it all, because ducks just seem nice for some reason. Swans, but they've also got a bark type thing, just like seals and sea lions and things like that. Like, they've all got this weird bark type thing going on. But yeah, I would think ducks, not for any particular reason, just I always thought ducks would be nice, like if they could speak. If you punch yourself in the face and it hurts, are you weak or strong? You can be both. You can be both. You can be weak to how you deal with pain, and you can be strong in hitting things. Like, it's kind of like a catch-22, but yeah, it is possible. So, what's your most hated mode of transportation? Bus. I hate buses. Like, it's so annoying. Like, because even if, like, you have headphones on and you're, like, in the back of the bus or something, you're not alone. People won't leave you alone. Like, I had this issue before when I lived in Las Vegas. I sit there and take the bus at 3 o'clock in the morning, and for some reason, people would always talk to me. I'd be the only person in the back of the bus, and they would just come to the back of the bus and just start talking to me while I have headphones on. Like, you can see their mouth moving, but you have no idea what they're saying. But yeah, they would talk the whole time. If there's an ambulance on its way to save someone and it knocks down someone, would it stop to help them? Yes. If they were to hit a person, they would call in somebody else to go to the call that they were going to and state that they had an emergency where they were. Just like if they got hit by somebody because they weren't paying attention at a light when they went through it, the same would apply. No, I've never been like an EMT or anything. I don't know anybody that is. But I just know that if something happens, like to a cop or something, regardless of what they're doing, like if it happens right then and there, whatever they were going to do then needs to be taken care of by somebody else, because they need to take care of what they're dealing with at that moment. If you had the chance to invent a country, what would you name it? Why would I care? Like, I don't know, because I do weird things like names for Sims and things of that nature. So a country would probably be Capicua, just for the sake of calling it Capicua. No reason. Just because it's different, it's strange, and it makes absolutely no sense. For any given reason, because there is no reason. It's just a name. Just throw it out there and be done with it. Like, that's literally what it is. Like, for me personally, there's, like, so much that I do that makes absolutely no sense. Like, for the rest of the video, I will go through things that I've done or something like that instead of finishing the questions, because we've made it to, what, 23. But the idea behind doing things in a strange way or doing things in a different way, I think things like that need to be done in life. Like, I think everybody should. And I'll kind of explain what I mean by that, because, like, in everything you do, there has to be some logic to it. There has to be some rhyme or reason to doing certain things. So doing something strange just seems like a way to keep other people on their toes. Like, if you're going to explain how something works, or you're going to train somebody on how to do something, anything, I think that you should do it in an interesting way or in a fun way if you can. I know there's a lot of subjects that are really boring, but I know there's ways that you can spice things up too. Like in my recent job working at Amazon, like, I was taught a certain way. But if I'm asked to show somebody how to do a part of what I did, I'd make it interesting. Like if you don't actually have an issue to fix at that moment, I would have to make up an issue. And then you have to go and have them, the person you're training, try to figure it out. This is after you've had them go around with you for a while and you've had them actually do part of the repairs and stuff like that. But when you do something like that, give somebody like a really unorthodox issue. Like, instead of just having like one of the robots on the floor stop working, give them a weird reason why. So that not only do they need to fix the robot, but they need to, quote unquote, find the issue that you had, made up, I guess. Like, for instance, a lot of the robots, they will literally just, lose where they are. So they will fault, and they will just get stuck on the floor, so they won't move. And you have to go in and you have to reset them and put them back in a spot so that they recognize the spot that they're standing on, and then they will just go back into service. But if you create a scenario for a person that you're training, because it's not trained that way, like, it's trained just move it. Like, that's it. Like, it just faulted and just move it. Like, that's it. That's the only thing they're told. And that's simple. It's basic. Which is fine, except a lot of times when they actually fault out, there's some secondary reason for it. So, if you come up with a reason and they have to figure that out, this gives them the analytical skills to actually get that done. So once they go into it, they're not going, what do you mean it didn't just not want to go over the spot? Yeah, it's an issue. You're going to have to pull out an item from underneath it because it ran it over and it can't see the barcode on the floor, to know where it's at because there's something blocking the laser. So you need to see this and you need to know it before you go out on the floor, because that's mostly what happens. So, I mean, if you don't know how to do that, you're just literally going out there to move something. But if you move it and something's still underneath it, it's still not going to see the floor. So it's still not going to go in service. So, but make things interesting. Like I'm not an actual parent, but I'm a step parent. And one of the one of the things we were kind of dreading, me and my wife, when she was growing up, was having the talk. Like, it's going to be bad enough at some point to have that conversation, but you also got to think, like, when you're going to have that conversation. Most of the time it's going to be when they're a teenager, and they already are going, Mom and Dad, why? Like, it's so irritating, and they want to talk to me about stuff that's important. So, talking about, okay, let's talk about your vagina. I don't want you to talk to me about this shit. Well, yeah, there's going to come a time where something's going to happen to you, and you're going to be like, what the hell is wrong with me? I'm dying. Like, no, you're not dying. You know, it's a natural part of life. This is what's happening or whatever, but you can make things interesting. It doesn't have to be like the last of the Mohicans, and like you're having a battle with like 35 different little tiny things that have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. So, like, and differences between the way things were when I was growing up and the way things are now. Like, I hate to tell you, like, there is no secondary, like, sexual organs. You are not asexual. You are not reproducing by yourself. Like, the closest you would come to that as a human being, like, biologically, through the science and biologics of being born, is being a hermaphrodite, and neither one of those things are going to work at the same time at the other one. So it's not how reality is. It's not how, it doesn't work that way. So, like, asexual reproduction is not a thing. Like, you may identify as an amoeba, but it's not a thing. You are either male or female, and your body is going to work in said way. Biologics is biologics. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Like, and either way, regardless of what your child is, like, when my wife and I had talked to her daughter about the logistics of the period and all that crap, you know, there was a portion as well, like, regardless of whether you're born as a female or not, we explained the other half of the biologics of how everything works. Like, we explained what the penis was and, you know, everything like that. So, like, because as a male growing up, I personally knew a lot about the female body, not like in sexual ways, like exploratory or anything like that, but simply because when you're growing up as a boy or as a girl and you are dating a boy or a girl, the opposite sex or whatever, if you know anything about the opposite sex, you can be more of an active part of their life. So, like, you understand when your wife or your girlfriend says, I need a certain type of tampon, or, you know, now they got cups and all this other stuff too. Like, if you know how the biologics work, regardless, you can do that. You can be that active part of, you know, your loved one's existence. Like, it's a part of life. It's what's happening. It's gonna happen regardless of whether you want it to happen or whether they want it to happen, because, you know, their periods aren't nice. But it needs to happen. Like, things are still gonna happen. It doesn't matter. So we explained, you know, both ends of the sexual discomfort, or the, like, existence of being the other sex. And, you know, it's just like, you should know something about what the other sex has to go through. Like, because as a father, if you have a daughter, you have to change those diapers too. It doesn't just stop because, now I don't know how to deal with that. You know, like, so you know, it's helpful in that aspect too, especially for the talk. You can say what everything is. You can explain everything. Like, you know, because I always knew that there may come a day where that's going to start for her, and she's going to have no one else. Like, if mommy's at work, somebody's got to explain what the hell's going on while she's freaking out, you know? And I'm not going to go to an emergency room to have somebody else do it when I know what's going on, you know? So it's just something that I think you should know on either end. So she learned how the opposite sex works as well as, you know, hers. So, but it's always going to be uncomfortable for the teenager to talk about stuff like that. So like, we just made it so uncomfortable. Like, we found like these weird, they were just so weird, the videos that we found on YouTube for it, like the male body and stuff like that. Talk about erections and stuff. Why do I need to know about this? I said, hey, well, you never know. I mean, whether you choose to be straight, whether you choose to be gay, whether you choose to be anything you want, we're still going to love you. But just in case, you know, whatever life's going to throw at you, or whatever you choose to be a part of, you're going to know how it works. So, you know, it's no big deal either way. So it's being accepting of it all, and understanding that either way, even if it's, you know, your daughter and she's already explained that, you know, she's gay, or she has no interest in boys or anything else, having that knowledge is still going to help. Because if, you know, they decide later that they want to get artificially inseminated and they want to have a little boy, they're going to know how that works too. So, but yeah, I mean, everything that you do in life, just try to make it a little more fun. That's pretty much what I've tried to do my entire life. I make jokes out of everything, even the most of uncomfortable situations in my life, like my daily pain from having spinal injuries and everything else. I joke about it. Like, when my legs don't work and I go to stand up and I fall, yeah, I'll still joke about that too. So, but yes, if you have any suggestions or ideas that you'd like to, or anything that you'd like to see me cover in a video, please leave a comment. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, anything else if you'd like, and I will be back with another part of the 250 weird questions, even though a majority of them are questions that should not be answered. They're just weird things to talk about, I guess. We'll do it. Or if you'd rather not see that and have different ideas, let me know, and I can stop that series anytime. So thank you so much, and have a great day. Subscribe, like, and bye-bye.